So these past few days, I've been thinking of trying to diversify my content a little bit. You can see that I did a ranking video most recently, and I'm now thinking of doing some more like larger form MOCs. So like dioramas, these like bigger things rather than just making vehicles and alternate builds and things like that. So I've kind of wanted to go a bit back to my roots as a channel. And if anyone knows, back in 2017, on May the 30th, I released a video which was my rebuild of the Rogue One Scarif Citadel Tower MOC. I originally made a really old, even older Citadel Tower. You can probably find it on my channel if you scroll back far enough. And that was pretty inaccurate to what the original was. It was the wrong shape. So I aspired then, back when I was 17, to redo this build and to make it into a bigger tower, a bit more accurate, and do it into a proper MOC with a scene, with a sort of battle and stuff like that. So I completed that, and to be honest, at the time I was really happy with it. I loved it, and it was like the first major diorama I'd ever really made. But now looking back to it, I see a lot of problems. I can see all the yellowed and kind of damaged pieces that I used in it. I can see the very splotchy terrain, the water, which bothered me even then back then. The beach that's just kind of a mess, and everything was there was signs of something good that was happening, but there were also just a lot of messy and not so great parts. So that's kind of left me wondering for quite a while if I ever should go back to building MOCs like this, builds that are kind of have scenes and things. And I thought, if I'm going to start that, I think there's nowhere best to start off with Scarif. I'm also building one on Minecraft as well, so I've been looking at the scene a lot, and I really want to build the Citadel Tower. It's such a really quite striking location. So all of this has kind of led me to be quite familiar with the Battle of Scarif, and Rogue One is very good. The scene especially itself was great. So I think that's what I'm going to be starting with. This video that's going to come here is just a bit of a summary of the first steps I've made in this beginning of a journey, the beginning of a build, and hopefully I can share this with you all the way. So as you can see here, I've got a pretty just basic sort of layout started off here. I've put a bit of greenery, laid out the foundations here for the bunker, and the beach is here, and I've put a bit of plants here just to show where I'm going to put the palm trees eventually. And the water, obviously, you can see that quite well, that's just there. And you can just see where I've kind of used the darker tan pieces, just to mark out where the end of the beach is. So this episode's major focus is kind of the beach area. I've actually come together a bit of a design for the palm tree. Don't know if this is focusing very well. Yeah, that's focusing now. I've come up with an idea for the palm tree, which is just a kind of basic sort of build, mainly. I'm going to try and include a few more of these pieces, but at the moment I don't have many. And this is the second design. This is a little bit more basic, but this is going to go further into the grassy area. So here's what I've got so far for the greenery. I'm going to change things up a little bit and maybe put a few more pieces in, because I'm still not entirely sure if I want to go for this sort of look. But I'm quite liking it, and I think the more dense I make this look, I think it can kind of cover up some of the limitations of the pieces I'm using. I think I'm also going to make the forest recede a little bit by the time it gets to the end, because I'm going to be building the Citadel Tower here. So I might have some water surrounding that, I might get the water to come back in from there. So I'm kind of trying to tightly pack this forest bit as best as I can. The next major thing I want to do is I want to put this down. This is the track for the cargo area. I'm going to put this right here in the middle. You can see that this will eventually have a track that I'm going to, well, this is the track. I'm going to have some thing that moves along it, which will carry some of the cargo, and that's going to carry that to the Citadel Tower. I'm going to obviously make it a little bit longer, I think. Maybe only just one more of those pieces, and that will lead right up to the tower. This is not one-to-one scale, obviously. In the actual Scarif, obviously, the track is quite a long way to go. I'm also going to have some flat tiles and things like that underneath it, just to kind of guide the thing as well. So I'll quickly do that as an update too. Okay, so I've got together the runner for the moving cargo thing. So you can see that this just moves really smoothly and quite quickly. And it will have the piece on top of it, and obviously it'll be stopped by, there'll be the wall of the bunker here, and probably the start of the entrance to the Citadel Tower will be there. So you can see it will move like fairly smooth, and it'll just be a nice little extra thing. I can probably have it displayed somewhere around there, but it's just a little fun extra, I guess. And just to take the camera out a little bit, you can see how this will look with the rest of it. I do hope I've given myself enough room for the Citadel Tower, but I want this to be tall rather than wide. So I want to make the most out of the space I've got. So yeah, this is just the first update for this pretty small, but hopefully still going to be fun, and it's my first real approach to a MOC, like a larger MOC project that I've done in quite a while. Obviously, as I said earlier, my Scarif MOC was always one I quite liked a lot, but back in the day I had a lot of bad pieces and maybe I didn't know too much about what I was doing. But I think this time around I'm really looking forward to where this will take me. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for putting up with slightly these new sort of videos, really. Any support from them is really appreciated. And yeah, hopefully I'll keep going with the next one.